President Obama joined 3 other living presidents in Austin to honor the lasting legacy of Lyndon Baines Johnson this week.
He grasped, like few others, the power of government to bring about change.
We look closer how the president's words and his visit could have a lasting impact here in Austin. 50 years ago, LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act into law. In his keynote speech, Obama talked about the legislative challenges LBJ faced and the challenges that lie ahead for the country.
He wanted to call on senators and representatives to pass a civil rights bill.
Obama's speech highlighted the power of the presidency, not just shaping laws and debates, but in the case of Lyndon Johnson, reimagining a world as it should be.
Most of his staff counseled him against it. They said it was hopeless, that it would anger powerful. One particularly bold aide said, he did not believe a president should spend his time and power on lost causes, however worthy they might be.
For one young Texas man, the signing of the Civil Rights Bill was anything but hopeless. Mark White watched it shape his career, life, and country.
Actually, in '64, I was 24, and I was in law school at the time. And I was observing what was going on. Our country was being torn apart. We'd seen a president who had been assassinated. We'd seen a new president from Texas that we were all proud of.
And today, pride swelled for this president, someone White said might not be in office if it wasn't for Johnson's action and words repeated today.
What the hell's the presidency for? If not to fight for causes you believe in.
2 decades after this moment, White marched into the Texas Capitol as the state's 43rd governor, learning lessons from LBJ, and now hoping the same thing will happen for his grandson by his side for today's speech.
I thought it was very inspiring and informative.
America's marching forward. We don't march backward.
Some people who couldn't get in to see the president's speech lined the streets near the University of Texas to see his motorcade. About 1,000 people were able to pack the auditorium at the LBJ Library to watch the actual event. Just blocks away from the president's speech, demonstrators claiming to echo the civil rights movement fought for immigration reform. At least 100 people marched on UT's campus demanding the president halt deportations that separate families. Police arrested at least 3 people after they crossed into a secure area. President Obama was the 3rd of 4 presidents to speak this week, along with President Jimmy Carter and President Clinton. President George W. Bush spoke after Obama for the final event of the summit. KXAN's Kevin Schwaller has more from that night.
The Civil Rights Summit came to a close with a speech from former President George W. Bush. He closed the summit in the way he started his presidency, with a focus on education.
Education in America is no longer legally separate, but it is still not effectively equal. Quality education for everyone of every background remains one of the most urgent civil rights issues of our time.
Former President Bush spoke about educating the country's children. He spoke about No Child Left Behind, his support of school accountability, and closing achievement gaps between students.
I would argue that
on the final day of the summit, former Secretary of Education Margaret Spellings also said the #1 need in education is expectation.
that is the expectation of every single school in Georgia's district and every single school in this city or any other, that every school is an excellent school, and that we can do that and we will do it.
President Bush also said he's noticing changes in schools. He turned to a phrase he used during his presidency.
I fear that the soft bigotry of low expectations is returning. And for the sake of America's children, that is something we cannot allow.
The end of President Bush's time at the library also marks the end of the summit, the beginning to the challenge for all of us from the ideas brought forth in Austin. The president of the LBJ Foundation says the library will be working on publishing a record of the last 3 days. Reporting in Austin, Kevin Schwaller, KXAN News.
And you can check out our entire coverage from the LBJ Civil Rights Summit on KXAN.com. Thank you for watching State of Texas in Depth. Join us again next Sunday morning at 8:30 here on KXAN. Meet the Press is ahead in just a few minutes.